Is Ted Cruz really in trouble in the state of Texas? Hey everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show. It airs weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. Two different polls that were released on Wednesday may cause a little bit of concern for Senator Ted Cruz, but maybe not when you really delve into the numbers. I'll get to that here in just a second. The story from Fox News, two different polls that were released on Wednesday. One from the Texas Lyceum Group that has his challenger, Beto O'Rourke, only down by 2 percentage points, 36 to 34% among 800 registered voters in the state of Texas. Now, I say registered voters because that matters. When you're looking at midterm elections, when you're looking at presidential elections, what you really want to look at and the polls that you really care most about or should care most about are polls that are done of likely voters. There are a lot of registered voters, but the likely voters are the ones who are likely to show up and vote, especially when it comes to a midterm election. So among registered voters, 800 registered voters, Ted Cruz only up 2 percentage points. A Quinnipiac poll shows that Ted Cruz is only up by about 6 percentage points or so, according to Fox News. 49% to 43% over Beto O'Rourke. So if you look at these two polls and you look at the headlines that are out, it would, cause some concern among Cruz supporters, and maybe it should. Listen, there's no question at all. Beto O'Rourke is a Democrat, is a good Democratic challenger. He's been a good candidate. He has crisscrossed the state. He's gone to all 254 counties. He has fired up the Democratic base in Texas for Beto O'Rourke. He has not fired up the Democratic base for any other statewide politician. It looks like Greg Abbott's going to, cruise to victory by double digits. It looks like Dan Patrick's going to cruise to victory by double digits. Looks like every statewide Republican is going to cruise to double digits, except for maybe Ted Cruz. I doubt that. I think that maybe there are people who are saying they're undecided, or maybe they don't want to tell the polling agency yet. I don't know. I personally believe that Ted Cruz is going to win by double digits. And here are a few things that should maybe give a little bit of pause to the hysteria that Ted Cruz is in trouble in Texas. I want to point out a couple of things that were tweeted out earlier by a reporter with the Texas Tribune. And that is this. In the 4 months, Quinnipiac has polled the Ted Cruz-Beto O'Rourke race 3 different times. And this is what he writes, if you believe the numbers, the race has dramatically widened, then tightened since April. Here's what the numbers look like. Back in April, Cruz was up 47 to 44 over Beto O'Rourke. He was up 3 percentage points. A couple of months ago, Cruz was up by 11 points over Beto O'Rourke. Now that lead is down to about 6 percentage points. I actually think it's closer to that double-digit edge. And here's something else that Quinnipiac found as far as Beto O'Rourke's approval numbers and disapproval numbers. Beto O'Rourke, since people have begun to know him, his disapproval numbers have actually gone up. Back on 4/18, Beto O'Rourke's approval rating was at 30 percentage points. Disapproval was at 16 and undecided at 53. On 5/30, the approval rating was at 30%, with disapproval at 19% and a no opinion at 50%. So relatively the same. Now, as of August 1st, look at these numbers. They've gone up in a bad way for Beto O'Rourke. His approval is at 33%, disapproval at 23%, and no opinion at 43%. So a little bit of a change in both the approval and disapproval. But if you're Beto O'Rourke, you really don't want that disapproval rating to go up. You only want the approval rating to go up. Now, you look at Ted Cruz. His approval rating back in on 4/18, 46% approval, 44% disapproval. On 5/30, 49% approval, 38% disapproval, and now 50% approval, 42% disapproval. So Cruz actually has 50% approval rating in the Quinnipiac poll. When push comes to shove, I truly believe that Ted Cruz will win by double digits in the state of Texas. I think that the Cruz campaign wants to fire up supporters, and he's out telling some folks that, O'Rourke has a lot of momentum. O'Rourke is up there firing people up, which is true. But also, when you look at different polls that show that Cruz and O'Rourke are pretty tight together, that fires up Republicans. That really gets Republicans excited about going out and voting and defending Ted Cruz and keeping Texas red. I think there's enough evidence out there to show me that Ted Cruz is going to remain the U.S. Senator in the state of Texas and that Texas will remain red. Beto O'Rourke, while he's running probably the best campaign any Democrat statewide has run in a very long time, he's energized the Democratic base. Seems like a good guy. I've had him on my show. You can go and listen to past interviews with Beto O'Rourke. He's going out there and talking to Texans, visiting with Texans. I just don't see that he has the numbers to win over Ted Cruz. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 on News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO.